And while the virus appears to be spreading fast in Italy, the rise in cases in China is at last beginning to slow. Our science correspondent, Thomas Moore, has been looking at how different countries are dealing with the outbreak and what it might mean for the approach that we take here in the UK.
The World Health Organization has praised China's attempts to contain the coronavirus. The country was quick to seal off Hubei province, where the outbreak began, closing factories and banning travel, and the impact is clear. This shows the daily new cases in Hubei since the beginning. The numbers that were once in the thousands are now in the hundreds. And the strict quarantine measures have stopped the virus spreading to the rest of China. Numbers there are comparatively low. But the virus did spread abroad, slowly at first. But now, as this line shows, the growth in daily cases is much larger outside China. That comparison is even clearer when shown as a proportion of new cases over the last 3 weeks. China makes up a dwindling share of the total. In Europe, the main focus is Italy, which has at least 8 times the number of cases of any other EU country and a fatality rate of 3.2%, well above the global average of 1%. One reason could be that almost a quarter of Italy's population is aged over 65, and the elderly are, of course, at the highest risk of serious disease. Researchers at Imperial College London think underreporting of mild cases could also be a factor. Officially, there are just over 2,500 cases. But the real number could be between 50,000 and 100,000 because so many people have mild symptoms, and taking that into account would bring the fatality rate down. Italy has, though, exported the virus to a number of countries, including Spain, where, as of lunchtime today, at least 18 of its 198 cases had travelled to Italy. 18 of Sweden's 35 cases can be traced to the country, and at least 22 of the UK's 87 cases were imported from there. The outbreak in the UK is several weeks behind Italy's, but we do now have person-to-person spread, and the concern is we may soon have an epidemic here.
Now, we've been hearing about schools about to be shut in Italy, but they've also been closed in many countries across Asia in an attempt to contain the spread of coronavirus. But it's no holiday. Despite the shutdown, the learning must continue, with lessons being held online. Logging on at home is not new for many students in Hong Kong, but this time schools have been closed for over a month and won't reopen for another month.
Starting with the Daily Telegraph reporting that 3 of the latest coronavirus cases were already NHS patients, sparking fears the virus could be spreading in hospitals. The image you can see there, of course, is Daniel Craig after the news that the release of the new James Bond film has been delayed because of the outbreak.
Bond is also on the front of the Metro. Its Bond-themed headline is "Doctor Says No." And California has declared a state of emergency after announcing its first death related to the virus, bringing the number of deaths in the United States to 11. The victim was a 71-year-old man who had underlying health conditions and had been on a cruise ship. As the virus continues to spread, authorities have confirmed more than 92,000 cases worldwide.